Yesterday, we were discussing how, in spite of the Buddha's disease, he was able to cover this 10-kilometer distance, in spite of his physical weakness and tiredness and weariness, without paying attention to his physical pain, with much great compassionate feeling. He was able to do that. It was quite adorable, worthy of adoration. This kind of thing cannot be done by ordinary beings, ordinary persons. Because he did this because he had much concern about the welfare of all beings. He wanted to save the beings from suffering. So you can just imagine how much was he worthy of adoration, because he was so much concerned with the suffering of beings. Hence his possession, his qualities of Vijja Sarana, both these qualities, the quality of Vijja, knowledge, and Sarana, conduct, clear vision and virtuous conduct. So with jnana, with clear vision or knowledge, he knows which is the right path, which is the wrong path. He can control himself. And with Mahakaruna, virtuous conduct, the second qualification, he was able to prevent beings from suffering and guide the right path to peace and happiness. This is quite evident. So just the quality of jnana, knowledge, or clear vision is not enough. Nor just the possession of karuna, compassionate feeling, is not enough. We must have both qualities. And because with the knowledge he was able to discern good from bad, whether it is beneficial or not, whether it is proper or not. But just this knowledge is not enough. You need Mahakaruna, great compassionate feeling, so that he can exhort the beings to abstain from what should be abstained and to observe what should be observed. So we need both these qualities, so that with the knowledge, knowing what is good and bad, he can exhort all beings to walk the right path, to abstain from what should be abstained and observe what should be observed. So because he was in possession of these two qualities, he was able to accomplish the task of knowing what is right and wrong and direct guiding all beings to walk the path. So both these qualifications, namely Vijja, knowledge or clear comprehension, and Sarana, basic virtuous conduct, are necessary. Then only one can work for one's benefit and for the welfare of others as well. We have said that Buddha went to Kusinaga from Pava for two reasons, namely to preach the Sutta, the Dhamma discourse called Mahasudassana Sutta, and to liberate the last person, namely Subhadra. As for the first one, Mahasudassana Sutta, we are not going to talk about this, but we are going to deal with the second one, namely liberation of Subhadra. It was for his sake that he traveled all the way from Pava to Kusinaga, covering 10 kilometers with great compassionate feeling. Finally, until he reached the Sal Grove of Mala Princess, belonging to Mala Princess, or the Himalayan princess. And then he lay on right side with his head towards the north among or in between two young sal trees for the last time. The last time means he was not going to change his posture in any way until his final great passing away, Mahaparinibbana. At that time, this ascetic Subhadra was already at this place called Kushinaga. He heard news that that very night the Buddha Gautama was going to attain the great passing away, Mahaparinibbana. And Subhadra thought like this: well, these Sammasambuddhas, omniscient beings, came into enlightenment, came to this world only rarely at times, according to what the ancients said. Tonight also, at the last watch of the night, I heard news that this Gautama Buddha was going to attain the great passing away, Mahaparinibbana. And I have some doubts. So it is only Gautama who was able to clear this doubt. That is how he reflected. This Subhadra Paripachika, ascetic Subhadra, was not an ordinary person. According to the commentaries, it is said that he came from a wealthy Brahmin family, known as the Uddhacca clan, Brahma Mahasala, wealthy Brahmin family. And he renounced the world to become an ascetic. He was the kind of ascetic who wore clothes. There are two kinds of ascetics, one who was naked and there was also who were wearing clothes. So in India there are two kinds of ascetics, one wearing clothes and one not wearing clothes, one naked. So this Subhadra, particular person, was the one who wore clothes. This Uddhacca Mahasala, the clan or the family was a high-class family, something like the high clan or family of Sariputta and Moggallana, Brahma Mahasala, I mean a wealthy Brahmin family. So about Mahasala, it is said that this kind of family who possess great wealth has been given in the text. So there are three kinds of Mahasala. One is Khattiya Mahasala, and second one is Brahmana Mahasala, and third one is Gahapati Mahasala. So as to the first one, Khattiya Mahasala, they have in store, or in those days, no banks, but they just put it underground. Something like 1,100 crores. I don't know what is the equivalent in dollars or cents. And this is what they have in store, that they have in stock, or they have buried underground. And this is not to be spent, just there, like I don't know, this saving account or something. So, and as for the expenditure, they spend daily one bullock cart load of this wealth. That is the daily expenditure. And the daily income is 2 cart loads. So there's a lot of profit in it. 1 cart load profit. So that's this much they're wealthy. And such is the kind of Mahasala known as Khattiya Mahasala. The second type of wealthy person, millionaire, you might call it, or billionaire, as a Brahmana Mahasala. He had his saving account, so to speak, 80 crores of money. And then every day expenditure is 1 cartload of that money, and the income also is the same amount. Such a wealthy person is what we say Brahmana Mahasala. And as for a third kind of wealthy billionaire, the saving account ran as much as 40 crores that is buried underground. daily expenditure is half the cartload of that wealth. And the same amount in daily expenditure, half the cartload, and this much of daily income. Such a wealthy person is known as Gahapati Mahasala. So out of these three kinds of billionaires, this, our hero Subhadra, came from the second category, namely Brahmana Mahasala, having renounced the world to become an ascetic. As has been given in the text as Chanda Paripajaka, he was the one who wore clothes, not naked. So we can draw a conclusion that this Subhadra came from a family who possessed more than 80 crores of money, and after renouncing the world, he became an ascetic. So Udicca Mahasala, upper class family, wealthy billionaire, that is quite evident. And there's one contradiction that's been given in some literatures, that he was a son of Upaka, ascetic Upaka. It was not reasonable that he was a son of Upaka. Upaka was the person who he became a hunter. He was a hunter, became an ascetic, a hermit, and the late Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw has refuted this statement that he was son of Upaka. Because Upaka was the person who married the hunter's daughter, Sava, and gave birth to Subhadra, another Subhadra, that is. So this is not that Subhadra which we are talking about. At this point, we need not elaborate on this story. And then as for Subhadra, he must have asked the leaders in those days, the religious leaders, renowned religious leaders who were non-believers, such as Purana Kasaba, and he must have posed questions in order to clear his doubts to these religious leaders. But it seems that they were not able to solve his problem, clear his doubts. So one may ask, why did he not ask Buddha Gautama from the beginning, earlier on? But the reason given by the commentaries was that the Purana, even if older ascetics, older religious leaders like Purana Kasaba were not able to clear his doubts, how can a younger Gautama Buddha was younger than those leaders, solve his doubts, problems, clear his doubts? So in this way, age-wise, he did not think much about the Buddha Gautama. So from this we can make out the use that Subhadra was older than the Buddha. Though he did not ask the Buddha to clear his doubts, but on that very night, that is the full moon day of Kasson, hearing the news of the impending Mahaparinibbana, great passing away of the Buddha, he wanted to ask the Buddha before his final passing away, so as not to feel remorseful, and not feel remorse for not having asked this question. And also, it seems that at that time, he had some faith in the Buddha. So, why did he think like this? Why did this kind of thought came to his mind and at the last moment, just for the final passing away? Because he was the last person to attain arhatship, and that is the reason why he had not been able to approach the Buddha until the last moment. And in this connection, it would be interesting to know something about the past existence events of this Subhadra Paripajaka. the enlightenment of the Buddha, time of the enlightenment of Buddha, the first person to gain the Dhamma or insight was the elder Kontinya, one of the group of five, Panchavagya. And the last one is this Subhata, ascetic Subhata. And the reason for this has been given that the reason for this was that at one time in the past existence, the two were brothers. So at that time, as brothers, they were farmers, farming the land, and the elder brother would be Kontinya, wanted to make dana, perform dana, by offering the first crop from his farm, which the younger brother Subhata objected. So they divided into half, so that the elder brother, would-be Kontinya, was able to offer 9 times from the time of harvesting to the time of storage, which is given in the text. So it is said that the would-be Subhata was able to make this dana at the last time, that is when the crop was stored in the storage warehouse. So he was able to do it at the last moment. So that the elder brother of those days, of that ancient times, named would-be Kontinya, was able to gain the Dhamma for the first time in the Buddha's dispensation sadhana. And as for the younger brother, he gained the Dhamma only at the last minute. That is when the Buddha was nearing his Mahaparinibbana, the great passing away. And by asking questions to the Buddha to clear his doubts, and the Buddha giving the reply or answer, he was able to become a monk and practice to become an arahant. So this is how the Subhata, ascetic Subhata, had this thought to ask this question to the Buddha to clear his doubts. Otherwise, we cannot tell what would be his situation. So, when midnight came, he went hurriedly to the Buddha, or where the Buddha was lying. And at that time, Ananda, the close assistant, was watching, was at the door, at the gate, to allow people or not to allow people to see the Buddha. So Subhata approached Ananda and asked permission to go to the Buddha and ask the question. So Subhata asked permission by addressing Ananda as Bo. It's like hello, almost equivalent to hello. That's what the Brahmin used to address Buddha and the Arahants. And he said, I have heard from the ancient the ascetics that Sammasambuddhas, the omniscient beings, rarely came to this world, and they only came at times. And I heard also that this Gautama was going to pass away, Mahaparinibbana, passing away tonight, and I have also doubts to be cleared, and I need to clear this doubt. So I believe also that Gautama will be able to solve the problem and clear my doubts. So Ananda, please let me see the Buddha. In this way he asked permission. And Ananda has this thought that these Paribhajakas, ascetics, non-believers of Buddha Sasana, they are non-believers, they opposed the Buddha's teachings, and they tend to ask awkward questions, And Buddha would be tired, wearied by being asked these questions. So in this way, by applying in this way, Ananda objected and did not give him permission, calling this, addressing Subhadra as Alan Avuso. And Avuso means friend, Subhadra, it is not suitable, not proper for you at this time to come and ask awkward questions to the Buddha. It will amount to tormenting, wearying the Buddha, because Buddha is already physically wearied. In this way, Ananda objected Subhadra's permission to see the Buddha. In those days, these religious leaders, renowned religious leaders, non-believers, such as the Purana Kassapa, had a lot of philosophy with them, but without any practical essence, any practice, any practical proof to prove their philosophies. They did much debate, asking awkward questions without any essential thing. They could even affect or upset their opponents. And Ananda already knew such things. So, nowadays also, there are people who have a lot of ideas, philosophies, ideologies, from books, learning from books and literatures, having a lot of general knowledge without any practical experience. They had much talk. They talk the talk, that sort of thing, and not walk the walk. That's what they say. It is said that the person may weigh about 1 pound or 1 kilogram, but the air that they are coming out of their mouth weighs about 1 ton. So that is what it is said sometimes, because they tend to ask many awkward questions and enter into very awkward debates. So at this time, that is when the Buddha was about to pass away into Mahaparinibbana, great passing away, it would be very awkward, very wearisome for the Buddha to be able to listen to them and answer these questions. For this reason, Ananda objected to Subhadra, ascetic Subhadra, and such an objection also is quite reasonable. It was nearing the great passing away of the Buddha, a few hours only before the final passing away. So Buddha must be really wearied physically. And you can compare such a situation with ordinary persons who are nearing death. A few hours before his or her death, you can just imagine how he or she would be at that moment. So, not knowing the situation, Subhadra came to get permission. So for this reason, Ananda objected. Hence, Ananda's objection. But Subhadra was very perseverant, very insistent, and although he did not succeed for the first time, asking permission, he did it for the second time. And for the second time also, Ananda objected, refused permission. Again, the persistent Subhadra asked permission for the third time, and for the third time also, Ananda objected and refused. So in this way, there was request permission and objection and refusal for some time. And at that time, hearing this conversation between Subhadra and Ananda, the Buddha said this. So Sayadaw says he supported fully what Subhadra was doing at that time, because anyone wishing to succeed must have perseverance. And if he or she is objected the first time, he or she must repeat it again, if it is for the benefit of oneself. So, for the last time also, Sayadaw asked for permission, and Sayadaw succeeded. So, because the Buddha heard this, hearing this, Buddha said this to Ananda, calling out to Ananda, Ananda, it's not proper. It's not proper for you to object or to prevent Sayadaw from coming and seeing me. Let him see me. It is all the questions that he is going to ask is he just wants to know. He is asking them because he just wants to know. Not that he is going to torment me or make me weary at this moment. So whatever is answered and replied to his questions will be understood very easily. And that was what the Buddha said to Ananda. As has been said, there was a reason for this. That means what the Buddha said to Ananda to give permission to Sayadaw to come and see him. It was for this very reason that the Buddha took pains to travel all the way from Pava to cover 10 kilometers to Kushinaga in order to liberate Sayadaw, because Sayadaw would be the last person to be liberated during the lifetime of the Buddha. And it is for this reason, to preach the Dhamma to Sayadaw, that he came. That's why the Buddha said this. So the Buddha said same thing, that whatever Sayadaw was going to ask me these questions were not awkward or weird questions, but they were asked because he just wanted to know them. It was not to torment me at this moment. So whatever he asked and what answer would be replied to his questions, you'll be able to understand this quickly and would be able to gain the Dhamma. So in spite of the Buddha's weariness, physical weariness, he gave this permission with great compassionate feeling, Mahakaruna. At that, Ananda had to give permission. Okay, my friend, go. So he was allowed to go at last. And the Buddha himself wanted to see you, had given permission. So please go. And the text is given that when Sayadaw went in, he was very happy, joyful, being given this permission. He exchanged greetings with the Buddha. Just like nowadays, we say hi, howdy, and so on. But maybe not, are you healthy? Because the Buddha was suffering from this disease. So perhaps he might say that, are you able to carry on, bear it, or maybe that sort of thing. So in this way, it is said in the text that they exchanged greetings for their mutual gladdening and memory. And then he took his place in a suitable seat, suitable place. So we stop at this stage when Sayadaw came at last and gets seated in a suitable place. We shall continue this and talk about the conversations, the exchange of conversations between Sayadaw and the Buddha. That's all.